it kind of othered me in a way where the only important thing was what was my race.
I had never been kind of put in that position where I've just been judged for what I believe that harshly.
It makes me feel a little bit lesser, a little more uncomfortable when I go into work.
I would always feel like they were judging me before I could say anything, based on how I look, based on how I speak.
People just assume things, and assumptions are very dangerous.
Invalidating someone's entire identity is so detrimental to them, even if they are like me and are in a place of privilege. If I can still feel discriminated against when people invalidate my sexuality or how I feel about my gender, it really comes down to how people who are even more marginalized than me feel.
The first time somebody's going to incorporate conscious language into their daily process, it's going to be hard because you're making a change in habits, right?
Even using someone else's pronouns. I think that was one time where I really did have to look internally and question why I felt so awkward about it or why I felt so weird about doing it at first. But after some time being in spaces where people of the LGBTQ plus community were speaking about it and were talking about how to be a better ally, I acknowledged, okay, this is one way I could start doing that.
One example of someone using conscious language was my very first class, and the first question she asked was, tell me one thing that you like about yourself. It's always like, tell me about yourself, and I jumped to race or ethnicity, but she was like, one thing that you like about yourself. And I really liked that, and I shared, I like mac and cheese. That was it.
Conscious language allows for a more broad sense so more people can feel like they're not excluded. It's the assumption that everyone comes from the same place, and that's not true at all. Teachers will be like, oh, when your parents did this or this. I'm like, my parents did none of that. Both of my parents are immigrants.
I started working when I was 15 years old, and I worked at a coffee shop. Sometimes people would just come in and refer to me as honey or darling, but then treat, my male coworkers and just my older coworkers even with more respect. The Conscious Language Guide is a great way for just anybody to access and see, hey, maybe I shouldn't speak like that to people, and it will just really help them to be more inclusive.
The importance of conscious language in any environment is inclusivity. When people feel included and they feel respected, they're more likely to share their ideas and feel comfortable with the people that they're engaging in discourse with.
As a person who identifies as gay, but I guess I don't look the part, people sometimes will go ahead and talk about other people being gay or not understanding certain things, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they are being mean or disrespectful, but it definitely makes me think that they just don't think enough about how other people feel and are not curious enough to ask questions.
So I guess just look at it kind of like training, right? Training our minds to be more open and ask those questions. We just need to let go of our egos and our pride. Really, just don't be too scared to ask, because what do you have to lose?
The higher education landscape in the U.S. has become increasingly diverse, and we have to recognize that today's learners hold various social identities, some of which have been historically excluded from higher education. At Best Colleges, we believe that learners from all walks of life should feel supported and empowered to succeed. That's why we developed our Conscious Language Guide, a resource to help you make inclusive language choices while interacting with others as you navigate higher education. Whether you're a student, instructor, or a college administrator, we hope you'll find the information, terms, and concepts in our Conscious Language Guide that will enable you to better understand and respect everyone around you, regardless of identity or background. My name is Cabrera D. Williams, Senior Editor for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion at Best Colleges, and I introduce you to our Conscious Language Guide.
I identify as a genderqueer, queer, white person.
I'm a learner. I'm Indian and Venezuelan.
I identify as male and then also straight.
I would label my social identity as a Nigerian American black male.
I am Colleen, and I identify as a student.
I identify as a woman and as gay.
Magda, thank you so
Thank you.
much. You rock. That was amazing. Let's cut.